Hi everyone, it's Kristie here from KP Creatives with another video for Two Scrapbook Friends. Today we're going to be making a Valentine's card. It could easily be adapted for a birthday card or anniversary or wedding, anything like that to celebrate somebody that you love. So we're going to be using a lot of products from Concord and Ninth. I've got some of their beautiful rose gold cardstock and their sentiment die set, Just Saying dies. I love this die set. It has some really nice big chunky sentiments with the word and shadow dies. So you have Love You So, Just a Note, and Here for You. These dies are great. I've gone ahead and cut out 3 of the Love You So, and I've stacked those together for some nice dimension. So that'll give some nice dimension on our card project. I'm going to set the dies off to the side. I've also die cut out of some Nina 110-pound cardstock, the outline of a heart, and then the inside heart, a stitched heart out of that same rose gold cardstock. You can see how well it die cuts. And these hearts are from the Gina K Designs Master Layout 4 set. The Gina K Master Layout sets are an excellent investment in your collection. Great for card makers, scrapbookers, planners. They really are versatile. There's a ton of different shapes, and I think you get a lot of mileage out of them. So a great investment. So let's go ahead, and before we get to our actual card panel, let's go ahead and stack up the focal point of our card. So I've got some Lawn Fawn liquid glue in my precision tip bottle here. I'm going to put some liquid glue along the back. This liquid glue goes a long way, so you don't need a ton. And we're just going to layer this up right on top of the white heart. Since we've used liquid glue, we get a little bit of wiggle room to move things around and make sure we have a nice even margin on all sides. So that's another reason these master layout dies are so great. Like, everything just layers together perfectly with very little effort on the crafter's part. So now I'm going to bring in my tweezers and let's get a little bit of liquid glue on the back of this sentiment. Now the Lawn Fawn liquid glue, very similar to the Gina K Connect glue, it dries clear. So if a little bit oozes out here and there, no big deal. We are not going to worry about it. It will dry clear and no one will ever know. So that looks good. We've got some adhesive on there, and then I'm just going to place this as center as I can onto the heart. So I'm just going to wiggle that, make sure it's straight. That looks good. I'm going to bring in an acrylic block and just put that on the top so that will set up nicely. And then we're going to get ready to work on our panel. I can see I got a little drip of glue on my media mat. So I'm just going to grab a wipe here, clean that up so we don't get it onto our project. Okay, so I'm using as I mentioned, the rose gold cardstock from Concord and Ninth. I'm going to dry emboss a heart stencil. This is an older stencil from Simple Stories. It was called Scattered Hearts, but there are a ton of stencils like this right now. So I think Lawn Fawn has one, Tailored Expressions, Studio Katia has a layered one. You could use any type of heart stencil you have, or if you have a heart embossing folder, that would work too. So I went ahead and dry embossed this stencil in my Big Shot, and I'm going to show you the sandwich that I find works really well for dry embossing in the Big Shot. So I've just taken out my plates here. So this is the platform for the Big Shot. You want to lift up platform 2. So you're working on the pink salmon colored platform. I put down a metal shim. I think this is the Lawn Fawn metal shim. The embossing plate that comes with your machine. Then you put down the rubber mat, then your cardstock, then your stencil. And I apologize for the state of my stencil. As I said, it's old. I actually ran this through my die cut machine once and crumpled part of it, so I had to cut it anyway. So, you know, be careful with your stencils as you're running them through. But that was user error on my part. And then you put your regular cutting plate. So that's the sandwich that works really well for me in my Big Shot when I am trying to dry emboss with stencils. So again, it's you make sure you are using the pink plate. So lift up so you're on tab 1, metal shim, embossing plate, rubber mat, both of which come with your machine, your paper, your stencil, and then your regular cutting mat. And that is going to give you great results to dry emboss with your machine. So the great thing about that is you get so much more use out of your stencils. So you can take a piece of the rose gold cardstock, beautiful in itself, but look at that dimension, and not really dimension, look at the detail, right, of the scattered hearts. And again, you could use any stencil on this, like whatever tickles your fancy, right? So don't feel you need to stick with hearts. You could use whatever you wanted. So, okay, so I'm going to get a little bit of foam tape on the back of this panel here. So let's get that going. My scissors have gone for a little bit of a walk. There they are. I'm sure I'm not the only crafter that scissors tend to fly off the table or go somewhere and we can't find them. And, you know, they're right in front of us the whole time, of course. All right, so we're getting some nice foam tape coverage on the back, so this will hold up really well in the mail. Going to take the release paper off. Then I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue on the back of this adhesive, just so we get some wiggle room when we put this on our card base. My card base is the Nina Classic Crest 110-pound cardstock. And it is 4 1/4 across by 5 1/2 inches tall. So that's a standard A2 size card. So you just take a 8 1/2 by 11 piece of paper, cut it right in the middle at 4 1/4, and then score at 5 1/2. So this is going to give us a nice margin because I've cut this rose gold panel at 4 inches across by 5 1/4 tall. And that looks pretty good. Ooh, actually, it's a bit off here. Hang on. I need to bring in my ruler. See, this is why the liquid glue is really good, because if I just had the foam tape on there, probably wouldn't have come up as easily as it did. So I'm just going to bring in this ruler to make sure I'm 1/8 of an inch all the way around. That looks better. And now I can press down with confidence. Should have just brought the ruler in the first place. So now I'm going to bring in the stack that we made earlier, and we're going to get some liquid glue on the back of the heart here. And I'm going to put this right in the center of our card. I'm just going to press this down a little so we make good contact with the card panel. And I really love how with the dimension on this sentiment, it just sticks up a little bit, just adds a little something nice to the final project. And that is it. So this is a super clean and simple, easy, straightforward card. That rose gold cardstock really sets this apart. And I love being able to dry emboss with the heart stencil, or any stencil that you will have in your collection. So hopefully this showed you a new way to use your stencils with your machine. I believe most die cut machines have that capability. So take a look at the instructions on your machine and give it a try. It's a great way to get some extended use out of your stencils. Thank you so much for joining. If you have a moment, please subscribe to the channel. You'll get notified when we post new videos. Give this video a thumbs up, and we will see you next time.